Hello everyone, it's Laurie Bloomer here. It is Sunday, November 23rd, and I'm here for this week's card pull for spiritual reflection and spiritual inspiration. So if you've been following along, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. Almost every week I pull a card just for the purpose of getting some inspiration for the week. And I like to call it a helpful lens through which to view my life's experiences over the course of the week, for the purpose of growing spiritually, becoming a better human being, and trying to take the 10,000 foot view from my experiences, since there's such an opportunity in these kind of wacky, crazy times where people seem to be very triggered, to really get pulled into the weeds. I try to keep a higher level perspective, a more constructive, a calmer, more peaceful perspective. So look at these cards as an opportunity to both learn about myself and also consider how do I want to respond to what happens during the course of the week. So I'm shuffling as I'm talking here, kind of focusing on that as my intent, and I'm going to share with you what jumps out to me intuitively about the card that I pull, and I encourage you to do the same. You know your life, you know what you're trying to accomplish this week, you know maybe some of the challenges you're going to experience. You might look at it through that lens. The deck that I'm working with is the Carrot cards. I've used these before. It's Carrot K. Meriwether Smith's deck. At face value, it looks really charming, but actually, these cards are the very simple line drawings, but they're written from the perspective of a wild rabbit. And wild rabbits, as we know, are prey animals. So there are challenges in there. There are all kinds of things. But look at it from a rabbit's perspective. And here's what that might be. If we look at rabbits as spirit guides and animal totems, and I have a rabbit print on the wall there. And in back of me, I also have a rabbit head on the wall, which you might be able to see up in the corner there. Rabbits have these long ears and eyes positioned on the sides of their head and very nimble sort of hair trigger musculature. Sorry, no pun, bad pun there on hair trigger, but hair trigger, hair and hair. So that they can respond quickly to changing circumstances, and so they can be aware of what's going on around them. As prey animal, that's obviously very helpful to be aware of what's going on, be able to respond quickly. But just in terms of life, it isn't just about threats that are coming around us. It's also just being aware of what's going on, which could include opportunities. So again, it's kind of a neat deck. I'm going to pull a card. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to share with you what jumps out to me intuitively. Later, I'm going to do a little write-up. So if you're my mail distribution list, you will get that write-up. You will also get my friend Heather Coletti. She's an astrologer. She's going to give an astrological perspective of the week that connects with the context of the card as well. It's funny, I do these videos and I take a photograph of the card, send it off to Heather. She has no context for what I'm saying or what I'm writing. I don't have any context for what she's saying or writing about it. She sends me her input and you get mine, and very often they're pretty similar. So let's see what card we get here. Just gonna, I've been shuffling the deck. I'm just gonna split the deck in two, and whichever card my thumb is on is the one I'm gonna go with. So we're gonna roll with this. And again, I'm gonna share with you what jumps out to me intuitively. I encourage you to honor what jumps out to you intuitively. All right, ready? Here we go. This is the card. The card is the Hoe. This is an interesting card in that there's a duality to it. Again, I'm just going to kind of riff. 22, in numerology, twos are significant in that they have to do with our one-on-one relationships with people, how we relate to one another, how we sort of honor our personal boundaries and also honor what we need and should do when it comes to relationships. So twos are actually pretty significant here. So just from the get-go, as I look at those 22, I'm going to look at those two twos as being significant to me for this week, to be able to sort of say 10 to the relationships I have with people, 10 to my own boundaries, also listen to my intuition. 22 is a very collaborative number. Again, in our relationships one-on-one with people. So it might be listen to my intuition with regard to relationships, whether they're relationships that need tending, whether they're relationships where I should be leaning in, whether they're relationships where I should be leaning out a little bit. 22 is also a master number. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is. Bear with me, I should know this, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that in the write-up. I'm going to address 22 as a master number. Master numbers are very significant in numerology. Also, when you add 2 plus 2 together, which you do in numerology, you bring all integers together, you add them together to bring it down to 1. It's 4. 4 is a number of structure. So I'm also going to say with regard to relationships, it might mean the structure and proper foundations, the process and rules. So if I drop that in the context of the Hoe based on that alone, It might be my relationships need tending. Some of my relationships may need to be cleared away. So I'm going to look at this for me as an opportunity this week to be examining relationships. And again, what tending do they need? Is there some clearing out that needs to be done, or is there some refreshing that needs to be done? All for the purpose of having relationships that are based on integrity, reciprocity, and again, solid foundation. So think of people you can depend on, they can depend on you, the joy that you have together, the things that you like to do together, the things that you learn from one another. That's going to be a big part of it for me. The hoe in general, though, what do we know as a hoe? A hoe could conceivably be used as a weapon. It's got a long wooden handle and a metal thing at the end. But what do? We use a hoe to tend to gardens. So as a rabbit, this might mean a few things. First of all, it might mean the hoe is coming, like Farmer McGregor is coming to tend that. So there's anything lasting things that rabbit needs to harvest from the garden before it gets turned over or hoed up. This might be a time to harvest what you need. It might also be a time to say, you know what? My garden needs a little bit of fixing or tending in general. I'm going to take up that other old soil. I'm going to turn it over and create a fertile field for something else. So this could even speak to creativity, could speak to lifestyle, could speak to other areas of your life that might need some tending. As you can see, it cuts a path. So it might be, what do I need to just sort of tend to and provide appropriate structure and order in my life, good foundation, solid foundation. So it could even mean things like if we go over a garden with a hoe, I could compare that to closets where I just need to go through, clean things out, organize things, put some order to them. So as you can see, I'm kind of riffing and going wide with this one. Hoe might mean something specific to you in other ways, and let's just let you run with that if that's the case. But again, from a rabbit's perspective, look at it as tending to a garden. 22 has its own significant meaning. 4 is about structure. So just think process, like this is a normal process for tending to a garden would be to take the hoe to it occasionally, to stir things up, till the soil and so on, and create fertile ground for going forward. So it's just something to think about. I would also add, just generally speaking, when it comes to gardening, this time of year, we're cleaning out beds, right? People are pulling out dead wood. They might be doing certain things in their garden to prepare them for winter. So, or again, harvest the last of something, since we're now in fall, at the end of a growing season. So have some fun with this one. There are no right answers. This really just depends on you and what you want to take with it by way of inspiration, and as an opportunity for self-reflection. So whatever you come up with is good. And as I said, if you subscribe to my emails, you'll also get a chance to see a more expanded view as I sit with this, and I will share with you what the karmic number 22 stands for, because I'm drawing a blank. I don't know why, but I am. And again, you'll have Heather Coletti's astrological perspective as well. So there you have it. Happy hoeing, y'all. I hope you have a great week. Thanks for watching.